Hello and welcome back to Havoc, and we're going to be taking the fight to the Osticos faction in this episode. Or at the very least, I will try, and here's the very operative word here, I'm not entirely sure if I can graduate from being a mercenary to being a vassal. And that's the point. If I do become a vassal with Mr. Penton here, I'm gonna wish that he actually starts doing something somewhat useful, because he has been, admittedly, not the most, well, he's been kind of useless, let's just say that. He's been very questionable in his decision making, and indeed he has basically been running around with around 30 units this entire time, and I actually don't know what's going on with him. I think he is a little bit weird. I don't know. Something strange is going on with him. Maybe he has, I don't know. Maybe he's doing some weird stuff. I'm not entirely sure. But whatever the case, if we do end up joining him as a vassal, which I think could be quite fun, because that would then mean that we can take fiefs for ourselves, you know. We can actually capture territory ourselves, and bear in mind that if we do have the opportunity to capture things, we are then going to be, well, we're going to be making a lot of money. We're going to be making a lot of money because the rents and the taxes and the tariffs and all that wonderful stuff is enormous thanks to the Havoc mod. And obviously having control of one fief is probably enough to be able to fund basically anything that I need to do. And I'm not going to need to rely too much on mercenary wages. But of course mercenary wages are much easier. They are much easier to manage. You basically just have to, well, just attack stuff, right? You know, just attack stuff. That's super easy, right? Yeah, so obviously if I do end up becoming a vassal, then we are going to need to do more things. I'm going to need to protect a particular fief, and in that case it might be a little bit problematic. Not sure how that's going to go. Someone wanted to see the stats that I have for the Storm Raiders. These are the stats that I'm currently using for my tier 6 noble units. They're pretty good. I'm going to say that they are definitely at the high end. Obviously, we've seen some people with units that have 270, 260 around that time, and that is obviously by default in the game. And they are, yeah, they mostly have 260, 270, and they're regular units. For example, Imperial Elite Cataphracts, as far as I'm aware, they are normal troop lines, I think. I think they are normal troop lines. But the main reason why I did it like this is because, for example, if oh, I don't have any Grand Marshals. Oh, well, whatever the case. When I get some Grand Marshals, I'll show you their stats as well, but they basically have pretty much what this is, but just lowered by about 25 each one. So, yeah, the main reason why I do this is because I am never, ever going to have an extremely large amount of noble units. It's just not viable for me to have so many noble units, because I'm going to have to identify where the villages are that sustain and indeed allow me to recruit noble units, and then I'm going to have to go back there very specifically to get the recruits from those places. And I'm not sure if I actually have the time to do that, basically, because obviously I'm going to be attempting to run around and trying to do as much damage as possible to the various factions in the area. For example, attacking Zoana here, we're going to need to attack her. I'm actually going to just go and auto-resolve against her right now. Don't see a point in actually going in myself. I was a little bit injured, but that doesn't really make that much difference. Oh yeah, by the way, I did actually end up doing a little bit of smithing in my off-screen time, and so I'm actually going to put a point into smithing right now, and we're going to do efficient charcoal maker. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good in my opinion. And otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to spec our charm perks as well. 30% influence, less influence cost for when voting for proposals. Increase recruitment level from urban notables by +1 or rural notables by +1. I'm going to go for rural notables, I suppose. And otherwise, what else do we have here? Workshops owned by you have 20% increased production. Yeah, that seems pretty nice to me. Yep, gonna take that. Don't really like the name of this. Personally, I don't really like the name of this. I feel like this is a bit, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me, that particular name for the perk. I mean, there could have been anything else. You could have just called it Industry or something like that. But yeah, anyway. Point is, let's go back to Saniopa and see if I don't need to recruit any more people. That's the funny thing. I really don't need to recruit any more people. I mean, generally, I don't need to. I'm going to ransom my people here. Yeah, I need to spec into roguery skill too. Oh, I'm all over the place, aren't I? Yes, I am all over the place when it comes to speccing into things. Yeah, someone actually mentioned that I should probably get some companions. And now, the main problem with the companions is that there aren't any. There aren't any in Saniopa at the moment, which is actually kind of weird. I would have expected them to at least be present here a small amount. I'm not entirely sure where they all are. But otherwise, we have a bunch of things that we can do here. I can, of course, smelt some more stuff now. I'm probably going to... Do I have any... yeah, I have very few of these. Yeah, now this is the problem. I have obviously disabled the stamina cost, because generally I find the stamina to be extremely annoying. Actually, have I disabled it, or is it just consuming it a little bit slower? I think it's consuming it a little bit slower, which I suppose is fine. But yeah, anyway, let's just continue to make that, and we're gonna go and make some two-handed swords. And let's make, what else? I can't do that. I can do this one, I guess. Let's make that a little bit larger. I don't have any other parts here. Might have another part here. Yep, there we go. There's a two-handed, straight up two-handed. That's actually quite nice. And there we have it. Okay, so this is actually going to be super easy for us to create. And, oh, we're only getting one skill point. Really? Just one skill point? Okay. Yeah, we're not even getting a skill point every single time we do this. This is actually hilarious. I would have expected to gain at least 2, but I suppose the difficulty is just not good enough, or at the very least, it's just not a high enough level weapon. I mean, we're basically creating a tier 2 weapon right now, which I suppose is probably the main reason. But yeah, you can see here, look at these things. I can basically sell these for 1,500. There's no real need for me to keep these, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I'm going to get 14,000 for this, but generally I'm already making a pretty significant amount of profit. So even if I were to not sell these things, it basically wouldn't make any difference. Okay, so otherwise, what I want to do is I want to purchase a workshop here, but what workshop do I want to buy? Because I personally think that Saniopa has a bunch of grain nearby to it. I don't know whether you've noticed that, but it has 2 grain villages very, very close by. And I'm thinking, why is there not a brewery nearby? It's a bit weird, right? There's no brewery here. There's a smithy, but I don't know why there would be a smithy, because there are no iron ore villages near to this location. It's very strange. Very, very strange. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to buy his smithy, and then I'm actually going to change it. I think I can change production through here. Can I not change production through here? Let me see. Yeah, change production. There we go. So we're going to change it to a brewery, and there we go. So it is now a brewery. Fantastic. You can also see how much income my other workshops are currently making, and you can see here that I have now reached the maximum limit for the amount of workshops that I can currently have available to me. I can change this through Chaos's Tweaks. You can also change it if you are using Chaos's Tweaks, of course. And I'd recommend it if you're going to be like a merchant-based character or something like that. But obviously, it very much depends on how much challenge you want to put behind the, shall we say, the artificial difficulty limits of money. Because obviously, money is very much a case of, well, if you have it, then obviously it's great. But if you don't have it, then it's a little bit more grinding to do, a little bit more progression to do, and so on and so forth. So it's very much dependent on what you personally want as a player. Anyway, seems like everyone has leveled up in my army, and I'm thinking I might try to take Atrion Castle. What's Pendant doing? Look at him. He's running around with 29 units. This is some weird stuff going on. I mean, there are a bunch of vassals over here which are running around with 23 units. I mean, you can see this guy, he basically had nothing. So I'm not sure what's actually going on with some of these vassals. They seem to be running around with some very, very small armies. LUCON, look at what's LUCON doing? Look at him. He's running around with 49. Okay, I should probably go and say hi to him, shouldn't I? I mean, look at this. Atrion Castle, 493 defenders. I mean, that's insanity right there. That's a lot of damage being held back by the walls. I can feel the intensity from behind the walls there, just basically waiting for anyone to dare try to besiege that thing. Yes, I think it's probably not going to work out for me too much. So we're going to just fight LUCON instead. I'm actually wondering whether I should take him prisoner or not. I'm not sure. But what I do know is we're going to tell our forces to charge in once again, and I will attempt to get some nice kills and hopefully gain some levels, because I am going to need as many focus points as possible in roguery and in smithing, and generally I am probably dispersing myself way too much in regards to my skill points. I think that I'm probably not diversifying as much as I possibly should. But obviously once I get a potential companion, I'm probably going to end up doing that anyway. So I just need to figure out what kind of companion I'd like to get. I mean, generally I could get a wife. I could get a wife with high steward skill, and then she could be our quartermaster, so I generally wouldn't need steward skill then, but I believe my steward skill is not that low, so maybe not that. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll go for an engineer or something along those lines. I mean, engineering is a little bit, I don't know, it seems a bit difficult to level up at the moment. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but yeah, it seems a little bit tough. So maybe that, I don't know, maybe we'll get someone who has 100, 120 in engineering skill and then see where that goes. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this polearm as well, by the way. The Manavlion, absolutely fantastic polearm. You can use it as a one-handed and as a two-handed as well. And it's just, I don't know, I've already sung its praises. You know me, I love this weapon. I think it's really, really good. And it's not even that short either. You would think that the reach of something this usable would be a huge detriment, a huge disadvantage to you being able to use it effectively. But no, it's actually surprisingly lengthy and allows you to really just reach anyone that you want to. Obviously, you have to be a bit careful when dealing with enemy cavalry, but most of the time, it's not really that big a deal. Anyway, I guess I will let him go. We're going to be gaining as much influence with this clan as possible, I suppose. I don't really know what I'm doing that for, to be fair. But who knows? Maybe we'll, I don't even know. I mean, diplomacy in this case, I'm not sure how that's really going to work. Because if you think about it, how am I supposed to, I mean, I can't really persuade them to join me, right? I can't really persuade them to join me because, well, I mean, he's the leader of his faction. So I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. Anyway, I'm just going to auto-resolve against this guy. We are going to lose a couple of people, but generally I feel like auto-resolving is the way to go against these, well, slightly weaker vassals. And upon returning to the marketplace, we can sell 5,600 worth of loot, and we can also ransom our prisoners. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to search for anyone. No one's an engineer? Are you serious? Okay, wait a minute. Who's actually really good at engineering? What's the affix, or shall we say the suffix, for the engineering people? Craft? No, not craft. What is it? I actually have no idea. I guess I'm going to have to look. Alright, Wanderer. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether they're married or not. Okay, so let's have a look. Wainwright. There we go, there we go. That's the person. Okay, so Lucibalda, we might want to get her. Or who else? The Scholar? He's a medical person. Not sure. Seems like the Wainwright is probably going to be the one we will end up taking. There is a Battanian there. What's this? The Alone. What a sad name. That is a real sad name right there. Okay, yeah, so we have a medicine person and we also have an engineering person. I think what I'll do is I will send a messenger to the engineer and hopefully our person will arrive there quite fast because I already have 68 in medicine, and personally I feel as though I'm probably going to do quite well at medicine eventually. I mean, I'm not sure. It feels to me like it's taking a long time for us to level those skills up. I don't really know why, but... Oh, hello there. Oh, I don't want to fight this guy. Oh, actually, I don't even mind. I don't mind fighting that guy. I mean, it seems like he has some pretty... I don't know. It seems like he has a strong army, but you could see here he's very dubious. You know? He's very dubious about actually coming close to us. So I assume he has a lower combat strength than we do. And weirdly enough, why has my messenger not arrived? Ah, there we go. It's weird. Whenever I mention... you know, where's my messenger? Then all of a sudden, boom, there they are. So I suppose that's good. Anyway, there we are. Lucibada, you are going to be my new engineer, miss. Thank you very much. And yeah, now we have the ability to select our roles. As I said before, we didn't have a companion, so there was no way for me to do that. And otherwise, you could see here that party leader is default for unassigned roles, just to clear that up, because, you know, people were telling me, please assign yourself as quartermaster. I don't need to do that because it's default. Okay, so anyway, yeah, she's the engineer, right? Yeah, she's the engineer, so she has 80 in engineering. I have 1 in engineering, so yeah, that's obviously really, really good. And otherwise, we are fine with everything else. Okay. So, yeah, I guess what else can I do? What else can I do? I guess we can continue to attack the Osticos faction as much as possible. Or, do you think I can call for an army, actually? No, I can't call for an army because I'm a mercenary at the moment. Yeah, that would not be too good. The prosperity of Saniopo is actually insane because I believe that all towns, thanks to the Havoc mod, start with 11,000 prosperity, or between 10 and 11,000, and you can see here that he's basically lost nothing. He's lost nothing in regards to the prosperity level, so that's actually kind of insane. Let me actually take a look. Charlia, where are you? You're gathering near this place. Where's that? Over here? Where? Oh, you're going to defend this. Oh, that's a bit weird. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not sure. I mean, we're making some pretty decent money from our workshop, so technically we could become a vassal, and then I might be able to do something about that. We might be able to actually contribute more meaningfully to various affairs of state, I suppose you could call it. And we are letting that guy go once again. Alright, so any single time we gain some loot now, I'm going to have to check and make sure that Lucibalda actually gets some good gear. As you can see, she's now wearing something a lot better. And I need to give her... yeah, she has riding skill. Okay, that's fantastic. So she has some good riding skill, and we're just going to be giving her this. Does she have crossbows? No, she has throwing skill? She has throwing skill. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Alright, well, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so now this is... okay, we're going to need to get to the next rank. LUCON is just over there. Let's attack him. Oh, you know my tricks, do you? Ah, yes, you know my tricks. Okay, well, my tricks are send troops. How do you... there you go. Apparently he knew about the trick, but it did not help him in the least. As you might expect. As you might expect. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Gain some decent influence and renown right there, and obviously I'm basically just trying to power myself along to clan tier 3. We need another 70 or 80, yeah, between 70 and 80 renown to be able to get there. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do it. Oh, we could take down the walls, actually. Yes. That seems like a good idea. all things considered, I actually think that's a good idea. So yeah, that I was racking my brain consistently about how I'm supposed to take one of these thieves, and it has just dawned on me. Yes, we can eliminate the walls, and that would make everything much easier for us. Bear in mind, however, I have a bunch of units that are theoretically some of the worst that you can take into siege combat. So that might be a little bit problematic. But I guess we could just try it out and see what happens. And if they do end up failing really hard, then I can maybe just customize a couple of them to change their equipment layout or something like that, and then go from there. But I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. And I would like to hopefully eliminate these guys. Whoa, I actually hit him from there? What? What happened? The Twilight Zone called. They want my skills back. Oh, okay, yeah, then they're not taking them back just yet, apparently. Alright. What? What's happening down here? Why have the enemy gone towards the coast? Oh, they're doing this entirely on purpose. Are they doing it on purpose? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Some of the time, the AI does some of the smartest, most devious tactics that you will ever see, and other times they will literally walk themselves into walls and just continue walking into that wall. Yeah, so it's very much a case of, you know, are they going to do that one thing, or are they going to do this thing, or something in between? Well, obviously something in between, but yeah, this is very smart of them, because they have basically forced my horse archers to have no space. They have no space to move, because there is a cliff. There is a cliff in between the areas that they want to fight. So I am now in a situation where I'm going to have to tell my forces to hold position up here. How interesting. That is probably one of the first times I've seen the AI, well, should we say one of the few times, because I don't think it's the first time we've seen that, but it's definitely one of the few times I've seen the AI leverage the environment against us and actually done something useful. He says, getting murdered. Oh well, never mind. At least my forces are in a slightly better position now, so they can actually go around like here, instead of literally going onto the beach, going all the way around here, which was the main reason why they were failing pretty hard in my opinion. And now they can more adequately shoot their bows at the enemy, and they can probably end up achieving victory. Are they going to go all the way around there again? Yeah, they are. Yep. I mean, that's pretty smart in my opinion. That's pretty smart of the enemy AI to force us into that particular action, because obviously my forces, they don't know, you know. They need their commander to tell them, and obviously I was dead at that point. But apart from that, yeah, it probably would have made sense for me to command them a bit more. But, well, never mind. Let's level our forces up a little bit. And we'll gain some prisoners, some decent gear. And we're going to upgrade Lucy Balda right there as well. There we are. And now, I gained, what was it, 30? I think I gained 30 renown or something like that. But does it matter? Because I obviously... I do need to actually go and recruit some more units, I think. That would probably make sense. Oh, there's LUCON again. He's running around with 47 units. I don't know what's going on with these guys and them having such little armies, because Penton's running around with a relatively similar sized force. And it perplexes me to no end to see that, because I think to myself, why do you have such a small force when you have an amazingly prosperous town under your control? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Oh well, never mind. Let's go over to Atrion Castle and see if we can besiege it, because now we have an engineer that has 80 skill or 120 or whatever she has, and hopefully we can actually do something with that. Oh! They oh, okay. They sallied out. Okay. Interesting. Oh dear. I'm dead. I'm dead, aren't I? Okay, so cavalry troop volunteering rate is increased by 30% in the towns your clan govern. I don't need that. We'll go for mounted patrols, I suppose. Okay, yeah, I am in a bad situation right now. Yeah, I am in a bad situation. Okay, let's go for combat tips for the culture increased recruitment thing. Okay, effort for the people. Yeah, we're going to take effort for the people because of gaining relation with the town owner clan for clearing out hideouts and stuff like that. I mean, it really doesn't make that big a difference. I personally feel like both of these choices are pretty minimal for a 150 skill level perk, but it's fine. It's fine. I don't really mind either way. Okay, so we've got some decent focus points in these things. I don't need focus points in engineering any further. Tactics could be kind of useful, but I'm actually going to continue either doing smithing or roguery. I'm not sure which one to go for. I think probably smithing, because later down the line we're going to get the ability to take either vigor or control. And then I believe we're also going to have the ability to increase my endurance by 1 as well. And considering I'm not getting 1 attribute point per level anymore, it would be kind of useful to gain those. So let me see what I can do here. I'm going to go for another point in endurance, I suppose. And then we'll continue onward. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be a pretty harsh battle. Because the enemy has a garrison. The garrison is basically negligible. The militia are somewhat negligible as well. Actually, all of these units are extremely low level. So I should be able to achieve victory here. Ah, they have put us onto a very familiar battlefield, as you can see. And thankfully, this time around, we are on the opposite end of where our opponents recently started. You know, that previous fight where we had some issues. Okay, so how is this gonna go? Well, the one thing that I want to do is I want to tell my forces to follow me, first of all. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that they go over in this direction. We need to make it so that we fight on the flat ground. Bear in mind, the enemy has 426... Okay, yeah. Okay. I don't have enough arrows for this. Do I? I really don't. I don't have enough arrows for this. The enemy is literally going to be able to beat us just from pure numbers. In my opinion, at least. I don't think we're going to be achieving anything amazing here, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe... okay, let me keep a positive mindset, okay? Let's keep a positive mindset. You never know whether, you know, something's going to end up actually better than you think, and maybe if we are just super efficient about what happens with our forces and with our ammunition, then we might have we might have a chance. I'm just going to charge through here, try to deal as much damage as possible to the enemy in a quick fashion, because if we can actually do this, we can force them into a retreat, which is actually what I'm attempting to do here. Please don't die. Please don't die right away. Come on now. Mr. King Lording, what are you doing, sir? Okay, there we go. A little bit better now. A little bit better now, he says, and then runs into some more polearms. You know, I feel like retreating right now. I feel like retreating right now because that was an absolutely useless maneuver that I did. I'm actually very annoyed at myself right now. Okay, let's actually just see what happens real quick. I mean, we can see our current army arrow count. So generally what we could do is just wait until our arrows get a little bit lower. Then we could retreat and then we could see what is happening. I might be able to retreat myself because I'm the one that instituted this particular action of besieging the castle. So I might very well be able to call for the general retreat of everyone. But I would have loved to have participated in this much more. You can see here, look at how many kills we've currently already gotten. Okay, I'm going to retreat just because I don't want to take huge advantage of this. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to be able to do this, so we're going to have to leave 25 soldiers behind. We did gain some tactic skill, which is actually not too bad, but yeah. I mean, that would have gone a lot better if I had just lived. That's it. All I had to do was just live. I am useless, and I apologize to you and to Mr. King Lording, because I would have been able to very easily achieve victory there. I'm pretty sure, not easily, but I would have definitely had a much better shot if I had just stayed alive. That's it. Anyway, I'm gonna rescue these villagers from the fellow Gulason. He is attempting to take out a couple of our villagers in honorable combat, just like we do. And we got some fire arrows. Oh yes, I love fire arrows. This might cheer me up a little bit. I mean, what do you bet? What do you bet? I'm gonna get murdered in the first, I don't know, in the first minute of this fight. What do you bet? I'm gonna get headshot by something, die instantly, and then I'm gonna feel even worse. Ah, I can't believe it. Can't believe it. I thought to myself, oh yes, surely I'm not going to get murdered by some militia. You know what I should have done? I should have just stayed away, you know? I should have just stayed away from the enemy's militia, because I know 100% of the time that spearmen are deadly. They are very dangerous to cavalry units, and I am a cavalry person, so obviously it would probably be a good idea for me to stay away from them and utilize my ranged abilities, which of course I have numerous of them. I have quite a few ranged abilities, as you can see. I've got a lot of arrows. I've got 2 quivers for a reason, but no. I had to have a big head, you know. I had to have a big head. I had to think to myself, oh yes, I'm untouchable. I should be able to head in here against very low-tier militia units and be able to murder them easily enough. And yeah, I was actually attempting to do just that. But of course, I was attempting to do it for a very good reason. I wanted to deal as much damage as possible to their morale. Because of course, the more quickly you're able to deal damage to an enemy's force, the more damage you're going to deal to their morale. And I was actually hoping that I'd be able to force them into a morale retreat rather than eliminating the entirety of their force. Because if I force them into a morale retreat... morale retreat? What? Okay. Oh, I'm just gonna let myself out right now. Oh, I feel... Oh, okay, yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? We're all friends here. We're all friends here. So, yes, morale retreat. I said it on purpose this time. Anyway, morale retreat is the strategy I was attempting to utilize. And that didn't go very well. And what's funny about this is, look, I literally survived in this fight when I would have expected myself to die in this one much, much more than the previous one, because this guy had some pretty decent units, and the others, well, they weren't decent at all. They were pretty lackluster in almost every single sense of the word. So very interesting, very interesting. Okay, so I have a number of prisoners here. I have a horse upgrade. That's actually pretty nice. And we have another horse upgrade and a bunch of other things for Lucibalda as well, which I'm very, very pleased to see. And then we're going to be heading into Saniopa in just a second and selling all of my loot. And hopefully selling my prisoners as well. And there we go. Sell the prisoners. We've got some decent roguery. I can't recruit any people just yet. I need to go to the nearby villages, I think. Going to the nearby villages would probably make the most sense. Let's give her some additional thrown weapons. And we can otherwise sell all of this. There we go. Another 7,000 for us. And I purchased a brewery here, right? Yeah, I already purchased a brewery. Now I'm forgetting every single thing that I've done. Very good. Okay, so, wow. That is probably one of the worst villages that I could go to. Aha, this is better. Thank you. Perfect. I have exactly 91 units now. Great. Okay, so, oh, hello there, Pelosaur of the Wolf Skins. What are you doing here, sir? Okay, I'm thinking... Do we want to attack him to gain some decent renown? Because you can see here, I'm actually almost at the level that I would like to be at. So maybe it would make sense. I have reached 150 in archery. Very nice. Okay. You can hold your aim 50% longer without losing accuracy, or increase your damage against mounts with bows by 30%. You can hold your aim 50% longer without losing accuracy, in my opinion, and also plus one loyalty per day for the governed settlement. If you are actually the governor, of course, then that would be pretty useful. And otherwise, Sweet Talker, I think. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter either way. Let's have a look. We leveled up our tactics skill as well. The troops deal 5% more damage in simulations in open ground like plains, steppes, and desert terrains. Most of the time we are going to be fighting in plains and steppes at the moment. We possibly will be going down into desert territory, but it very much depends on where we go first, because obviously we're kind of in the middle at the moment. And generally, I feel like we're probably going to end up going to snow territory and forest territory much sooner than going to desert. But in the meantime, we're more than likely going to be fighting on plains and steppes much more often. So I think proper engagement is probably what I'm going to be taking here. And shall we do battle with this guy? I mean, I don't know whether it's really worth it, to be honest. I mean, I guess it is. I guess it is worth it, but I don't know. I mean, look at the combat strength. I mean, we are quite clearly overpowering him at the moment. We are going to be fighting in the valley once again. Seems like the valleys are not too bad for us, surprisingly enough. I would have possibly expected cavalry to not do so well in these valleys, but apparently, it's actually not too bad. I don't know. Maybe my forces are just a little bit more used to these more close quarters battles for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, it would probably be better for them to have an open battlefield. But these guys, wait a minute, are they not mounted? I'm surprised. I actually thought I thought the wolf skins were people that had. No, wait a minute. That's the other guys, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Those are the other, that's the other minor faction. Okay, good to know. Good for me to remind myself about that. Yeah, anyway, okay. So, yeah, these guys are going to be a walk in the park, he says, as he gets shot in the head. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything anymore about my opponent. My opponent is very powerful, and I should bow down to their greatness. If I say that, then maybe they're going to, you know, spare my life for at least a few seconds longer. Possibly. I'm not entirely sure, but every single time I trash talk them in some way or another, and I say, these enemies are somewhat poor, or they are unskilled, or something along those lines. Every single time I say something like that, I get headshot. So, I'm not one to be superstitious about these kinds of things, but it feels to me like that always happens. I'm not sure. Not sure what's going on with that. I mean, I'm wading in right here. I am wading in quite clearly into the middle of the opponent, and I would wholeheartedly assume I'm going to get murdered. So that's obviously my fault. But from being far away and then trash talking them and then getting headshot, yeah, that's I don't know. I'm a bit suspicious about that, but whatever the case, let's get my bow out and see if we can maybe get a couple of extra kills with this. They do have shields up, so might be difficult. Nice. I really love this bow, though. I mean, obviously I would. I mean, come on. It is probably the best cavalry bow, or a bow that you can use while riding without having that skill that allows you to use every single bow on horseback. And generally, I think it might actually be good nevertheless. It feels to me like even with that perk, the noble longbow, which is the other version of this bow, might be a little bit too unwieldy, and the missile speed might be a bit too on the low side. Possibly. I don't know. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But it seems to me like my polearm proficiency has all but evaporated. I apparently cannot get any kills with my polearm now at all for some reason. But whatever the case, I'm going to try and continue getting kills with my bow here. And I think my forces have achieved victory. So I will just tell my forces to well, speed up, I guess. And there we go. Okay, so we actually ended up losing only 7 units. No, what? Oh, my companion died. Oh, she trash-talked them even harder than I did. That's probably what happened there. Right? It's not me causing her to become cursed in some way, and then she died due to my trash talk, which was admittedly very weak. But still, I don't know. I have no idea what she died from. Alright, okay, so these guys are obviously under mercenary service for at least 42 days, so obviously that is not really going to work for us, but I am going to try and get a little bit of relation with them, just in case, you know, you never know when you're going to be interacting with some people, and yeah, she actually ended up dying, which is, well, pretty funny. I mean, no offense to Lucy Balder's family or anything, but pretty funny, considering I literally just recruited her, and now she is gone. And that actually makes me question everything at this point, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so where do I get a companion that's actually good at engineering now? Because as far as I am aware, she was the only one that had really, really good engineering skill. And yeah, she was 27. She died so incredibly early. I feel bad. I feel bad now, to be honest. Okay, well, let me just take a quick look here. Wow, she's actually got some good skills. Yeah, I guess what I'll do is I will literally have to go through all of these. Actually, wait a minute. Is there a way that I can tell from their title, apart from Wainwright, what is the best for engineering? Because as far as I'm aware, Wainwright is the only one that I think has a specialization in engineering. Am I wrong about that? Because it feels to me like that is indeed the case, because I am not seeing anyone else here that actually has engineering skill. I could go through these a little bit more logically, of course, and I will be doing that probably off screen just to see what's actually going on with them. But if you know of another suffix, another title that that focuses on engineering, then by all means let me know. I don't think there are any here. Maybe Spice Vendor? Steward Trade. Yeah, that's not gonna work. What about Iron Belly? No, that's also not gonna work. Okay, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do there. Okay, that might be a little bit of a problematic situation. Maybe I can marry someone that has decent engineering skill. I don't know. Maybe there is an eligible bachelorette somewhere who would be open to marrying this absolute imbecile. But whatever the case, that will be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.